This is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast on the internet under the banner of baby angel Geronimo Manifesto. And this is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast on Sunday, the 7th of April 2024. So the tributes paid by twice defeated leader of the Labour Party in the United Kingdom, Andy Barnum. The tributes paid to two Tories, one Michael Gove and the other Michael Heseltine. What does it all mean? It means exactly what Andy Barnum is, has been, and will always be. This is taken from the summary of the promotion of his book, Heading North or Head North. The promotion contained in the Rupert Murdoch Times of Saturday, 6th of April 2024. When Andy Barnum was embroiled in a row that concerned the fascistic restrictions on free speech and criticism of government of the day that he was promoting in the House of Commons. That was during Gordon Brown's incumbency in the post of Prime Minister. Andy Barnum got involved in a row with the conservative David Davis, who years later became the Brexiteer. And he insinuated that David Davis was having an illicit affair with an Indian origin woman who was at that time the so-called civil liberties champion. She is now in the House of Peers, where she has been lodged, consigned by Jeremy Corbyn. Barnum, I have yet to read the book, but Barnum, I don't think, would mention the lessons of the Peterloo martyrdom. The Peterloo martyrs were martyred in the Greater Manchester area by the British police 200 years or so ago, because Barnum, I think I'm correct in saying, being a Labour careerist, is actually unfit for purpose, because the Labour Party was founded to not only replace the Tory culture, but to improve the culture of the country in a way that has not happened. Barnum, when he was, I think, Secretary of State, was he Secretary of State in Gordon Brown's regime, visited the Brick Lane area. What did he do? Where did he? He actually attended a gathering in the micro business center in the Greater X Street, and he was kind of received by the racist criminal. Rachel Saunders is not the only one who welcomed Andy Barnum. Rachel Saunders, for whatever reason, seems to have been the recipient of unjustified from Labour Party bureaucracy. She is no longer in an active position as a Labour Party politico because her career has changed. Once she performed disastrously in Tower Hamlets as a councillor, she understood correctly that she was not going to go far as a politico. Rachel Saunders was also openly promoted and praised with oozing praise by the criminal Ken Knight. Ken Knight was the criminal whom the so-called community secretary Eric the Pickles appointed as the main inspector to Tower Hamlets to monitor the financial abuse that was underway based on the findings of the Price Waterhouse Cooper report, which the Pickles officially published in the House of Commons on the 4th of November 2014. When he began his £1,000 a day kind of inspection of Tower Hamlets, inspection, of course, within quotation marks, Ken Knight held meetings that were open to the public. And it was quite clear that Ken Knight, for whatever reason, was sexually deprived. And it is also clear that Rachel Saunders, physically, a significant physical structure, and she attracted Ken Knight's attention in a way that was obscene to observe. Ken Knight, the criminal, lied to me, as did his number two. This is a summary of the intense correspondence I had with the criminal, asking questions about what the fuck he was doing. Now, compared to my actual empirical investigating findings, the utterances of the morons, Ken Livingston and George Git Galloway, made in November 2014 at the meeting organized by the supporters of the criminalized spiritual zombies under the banner of Islam at the micro kind of rally that took place at a spot, at a location in the Mile End Road. Git Galloway and Ken Livingston said that Eric Pickles sending Ken Knight and other inspectors was behaving in effect in an authoritarian way, violating democracy. Now, as an investigator, I made time to observe the sittings of those inspectors. And as I say, the most significant thing that I noticed was Ken Knight was oozing in the direction of Rachel Saunders, who must be aware of her physical attributes. And she could not be more pleased with the attention that Ken Knight was paying her. Apart from that, the liar Ken Knight did not answer a single question that I put to him. So when, before the arrival of these so-called inspectors, overhyped by Fleet Street, as if something of substance was going to happen, in contrast to that kind of hype, the reality was that Ken Knight was sexually deprived and was doing the next best thing, unrequited, and he praised Rachel Saunders without any reason at all, at any excuse. Ken Livingston And George Gate Galloway said that Eric Pickles, by sending these inspectors, was violating democracy. And Ken Livingston actually was captured by the BBC journalist who recorded the spiel in which Ken Livingston incited people to go and demonstrate outside these inspectors' homes, including the express instruction that make their life miserable, uncomfortable. Clearly, Ken Livingston is a moron who had no idea about the zombies that he was addressing at the gathering in the Mile End Road. Because in the last 52 years that I've been in London, defending the community in the East End of London, defining the community, the Bangladeshis in the United Kingdom, I have maintained initiatives every single day. Contrast my initiatives with the totally dead nature of the collective Bangladeshis. There is nothing, absolutely no evidence that these people would go to demonstrate outside Ken Knight's home or anyone else's home. For a start, most of the zombies are brainwashed in a reflex way that shows that they are very, very solidly, totally intimidated by the prospect of facing what can only be called the host community personnel. They would never go to demonstrate outside Ken Knight's home. In any case, that is theory. Had that been a reality, they would not do that. Why? Because the people who were at the gathering, the zombies, must have included those 5 councillors. 5 councillors that belong to Lutfur Rahman's corrupt outfit called the Aspire Party. And these 5 councillors are the crooks that have been condemned by a court member of the judiciary. The member of the judiciary was responding to commenting on the submission, what is called the skeleton argument put forward to the court by the legal representatives of an Indian origin man called Santosh Nair, who identified the 5 councillors. Santosh Nair alleged that the 5 councillors, all belonging to Lutfur Rahman's corrupt outfit on Tower Hamlets Council, said to him, that is Santosh Nair, that if he, Santosh Nair, paid them the appropriate amounts of bribe, then that is Santosh Nair's application for a license, for a planning permission, for an entertainment venue would be granted. That is the brazen truth. And that truth is summarized in the piece in the current issue, edition of the fortnightly Private Eye. I say Private Eye for the records, although in effect I call it Private Lie, but Private Eye in its Rotten Boroughs column or page leads with the story against Luther Rahman, and it is titled Crooked Towers. And these towers are occupied by the criminals who are members of the Townless Council and are members, of course, of Luther Rahman's numerical majority number of councillors on Townless Council. Looking back at the promotion that Ken Livingston Livingstone and George Gid Galloway delivered at the Water Lily Centre, as it was then known, in the Mile End Road. It is no longer called the Water Lily Centre. The building has been commercially transferred to other users. But it was called the Water Lily Centre in the Mile End Road, London E1, United Kingdom, in November 2014. When Ken Livingston Livingstone incited people to go and demonstrate outside the Eric Pickled inspectors, I have demonstrated outside London magistrate courts, several magistrates' courts in the last 52 years, defending Bangladeshis. Notably, I have demonstrated outside the Wells Street Court of Oxford Street, and of course Thames Magistrates Court, which has shifted location since the demonstrations of 1989. And I have demonstrated outside the West London Magistrate Court in defending 40 plus, mainly Bangladeshis, arrested at the demonstration on Saturday, the 15th of July, 1989, in the Bethnal Green Road. This demonstration took place a week after the racist attack on Ismat Ali and his nephew, Watir Ali, on the 9th of July, 1989. And at that demonstration on the 15th of July 1989, it was quite clear that no matter what they claim otherwise, these so-called leaders, Bangladeshi community leaders, completely lack any fitness to be called leaders. And especially in the context of the challenges required to be met in the United Kingdom. These leaders are absolutely absent. I didn't organize that demonstration on the 15th of July 1989. But when the protesting march approached the Bethnal Green police station in the Bethnal Green Road, the leadership disappeared and the protesting marchers were left without any leadership. So I had to take over. And as a result of that, I had to quickly decide to invite the participants to sit down and block the traffic passing through the Bethnal Green Road either way, thus forcing the police to pay heed to the demands of the demonstrations. Short recap, more than 40 people were arrested by the Territorial Support Army of the Metropolitan Police, and it was to release them, get the charges dropped against them, that I had to then continue holding demonstrations outside the Wall Street Courts, Horse Ferry Road Magistrates Courts, all by myself. This is the difference between me and the rest of the community's so-called leaders. The leaders are dead. So when Ken Lyons to Livingstone and George Git Galloway said that go and demonstrate, the moron had no idea about the Bangladeshi community at all. And the crook Lutfur Rahman, in whose aid the moron gave that inciting spiel, he was as idiotic as ever. He stayed there and he didn't correct Ken Lyons to Livingstone. And he did not distance himself from Ken Lyons to Livingstone's incitement. Scores and scores and scores of incidents over the last 52 years will show that what is known demographically as the Bangladeshi community in the United Kingdom generally, and in London in particular, lacks political initiative, political mobilization. And that is what I have been implementing in the absence of the deadly absence of the Bangladeshi leadership that is actually officially endorsed and bribed and paid and whatever. I don't seek any money. I don't get any money. And I would never seek any money from any organization or any source or the government. There is a serious moral issue there. Seeking money from the political masters and then complaining against their behavior is contradictory. All my political agenda and activities on the basis of evidence has been and is destined to remain opposed to the corruption of the party, of the government, of the council, etc., etc., etc. So this is the detail of the Andy Barnum promotion by the Rupert Murdoch Times and Barnum's ingratiation to Michael Gove and Michael Heseltine. Now, Heseltine was the conservative criminal that actually introduced the so-called city challenges. And he gave a thing in Tower Hamlets called Bethnal Green City Challenge, which was an absurdity intended to bribe and buy off politicals. And all the criminals in the Bangladeshi community in Tower Hamlets got together and they got their share of the bribe. It never reached the ordinary people, and it could not reach the ordinary people. A criminal called Erika Zimmer, was a so-called civil servant who was supposed to be in charge of distributing the bribe under the Bethnal Green City Challenge. And a councillor called Alauddin was made chair of the Bethnal Green City Challenge. It was a disgrace. It was a disaster. It was absolutely unrepresentative of whatever demands existed in the local area and whatever representations. I sent to the Bethnal Green City Challenge at least 5 or 6 dozen letters, mostly faxed, and they were never answered, they were never acknowledged. Now, anyone who knows about my record would know that I write very high standard, legal, constitutional, evidential, empirical letters. I've done the same with the Nazrul Center, about which another time, another edition. And of course, I've done the same with the Khoodeelaar campaign, which successfully defeated the central government plot to dig a hole in the Brick Lane area. So the city challenge became shitty challenge. Bethnal Green shitty challenge, never acknowledged my communications and never answered the questions that were very critical. Several crooks got the money, and they did that by claiming that they were using the money for their little businesses. So when Andy Barnum praises Michael Heseltine, what the fuck is he praising him for? Heseltine and Michael Gove could not imagine having possession of the facts about an area like Tower Hamlets. And even if they could, they would never be able to get access to the evidence because the bureaucracy is channeled to the local council. So Andy Barnum is a moron, and Michael Heseltine is an imperialist who actually created the apartheid docklands, of which more later in later updates, not in this edition but in due course. This is part A of the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast under the banner of baby angel Geronimo Manifesto. And this edition is ending at 0900 hours GMT, 1000 hours British Standard Time on Sunday, 7th of April 2024.